But how is all this actually going to be impacting our Indian market? We do have a research team joining in with us to tell you how the trade setup is looking like, which are the important stocks that you should be keeping on your radar as well. Good morning, Hormaz, Vamakshi, as well as Sudarshan. And Hormaz, let's start up with you. Trade setup, how is that looking like for the Indian markets? Will we manage to hold on to those gains that we've seen in the last few trading sessions?
Good morning, Vinny, and the Bulls would certainly hope for that because it's a very important session that lies ahead of us, because it is today's session that might determine that the three-day up move that we have seen, whether that builds on or we just reverse from that three-day up move, because the Nifty has gained almost 300 points in these last three trading sessions, and it was the second day yesterday that we made higher highs and higher lows on the charts, and that also the usual expiry-related volatility was missing. But three very important factors that will determine how the Nifty moves today, and it was the three big earnings that came out after market hours yesterday. Reliance ended at the day's high yesterday. Numbers were good. The Infosys also numbers were good, but the ADR was down 6%, so we need to keep that in mind. And in line with that, even Wipro's ADR was down 4%. Wipro comes out with numbers later this evening, and Axis Bank as well. It did recover from the lows and ended at the highest point of the day ahead of the result, but the numbers were weak. But the actual recovery is taking place in the broader markets, because the both mid-cap and the small-cap indices were down 4% each on Monday, and both of them have recovered all of their Monday's loss over the last three trading sessions. There'll be plenty of activity in the stock-specific market as well. But earnings reactions, of course, we have noticed in the earnings season so far that the beat to already subdued expectations is getting handsomely rewarded, but accidents are getting punished as well. As HCL Tech was a case in point, and today we'll have earnings reactions from other names like Havells, LTI, Mindtree, and Metro Brands as well. And today there are important results other than Wipro, be it Tech Mahindra, be it SBI Life, ICICI Lombard, and even Jio Financial Services. So plenty lined up on the final trading day of the week. Some important levels also to watch out for on the index. The GIFT Nifty for now is indicating a cautious start.
Okay, a cautious start is what we're watching out for the Indian markets today. But let's go across to Vamakshi, who's here to tell us which are the important stocks that you should keep on radar this morning. Vamakshi, good morning.
Good morning, Vinny. Let me first start off with Reliance Industries. Revenue saw an uptick of almost 6.6%. The consolidated margins to improve from 18.1% to 18.3%, while the net profit saw an uptick of 7.4%. So good set of numbers for Reliance Industries. Axis Bank is the next counter that we're watching out for. Deposits saw an uptick of almost 9% year on year, while the advances also saw a similar uptick. NII was up nearly 8.6% in line with our poll. Net profit saw an uptick of 3.8%, while asset quality was more or less stable. Infosys, on the other hand, Q3 dollar revenue growth saw an uptick of 0.9% higher than estimates. CC revenue growth too came in higher than estimate at 1.7%. Q3 margins expanded by 20 basis points to 21.3%, and the FY25 CC revenue guidance has now been revised to 4.5 to 5% as compared to 3.75 to 4.5% earlier. LTI Mindtree's CC revenue growth came in at 1.8% sequentially, slightly higher than the poll. The dollar revenue growth at 1.1% sequentially was slightly lower than the poll of 1.2%, and the EBIT margin came in higher at 13.8%. Havells revenue saw an uptick of 10.8%. Margins have, however, declined to 8.7%, and the net profit came in much below the poll at 278 crores. Metro Brands revenue saw an uptick of 10.6%. Margins have come in slightly higher at 32%, but the net profit overall declined by 3.9%. So keep an eye out on all of these counters.
Okay, Vamakshi, thank you so much for that. But let's finally go across to Sud, who's here to tell us what is going to be happening in the world of F&O this morning. What are the important cues there? Good morning, Sudarshan.
Good morning, Vinny. So while market might have gained for third straight day with broader market recovering entire losses that both mid-cap index and small-cap index had seen on Monday, but for today, GIFT Nifty covering all the cues is indicating a lower start country. It's down nearly 50 points. Talking about the flows, FIs remain on the sell side. Yesterday, they have sold more than rupees 4,000 crore. And with yesterday's sale, in January so far, our entire sale has crossed rupees 40,000 crore. While for DIs, they have bought nearly rupees 3,000 crore, and in the index futures, 2FI have sold nearly rupees 900 crore, and they have reduced long contracts by 581. At the same time, they have added short positions by more than 6,700 contracts. And with this, FI's long exposure now stands around 17%, and on the client side, long exposure remains around 72%. On the options front, 23,000 call was the most active option, where there we have seen addition of more than 10 lakh shares with premium at around 206. On the put side, 23,000 put and 23,300 put were active with premium around 72 to 167. With this important level for Nifty, support is now seen somewhere around 23,000 and resistance remains around 23,400. Lastly, stocks in focus, keep an eye on IT stocks because Infosys reported earnings which were beat. Even they've raised the guidance on revenue front, but the concern remains on margin because over the next 2 quarters, company will be taking wage hike, and now expectations are that in FY25 margin might come in the lower band of the guidance. And second, keep an eye on Reliance because earnings for Q3 FY25 were beat because all round beat, and even all the brokerages remain positive on Reliance Industries.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Keeping an eye out on those stocks as well on the back of the FNOQs that we're getting in. But